Welcome to the Elephant Toothpaste video activity. If you have not completed the pre-lab review question, pause the video and complete it now. When you're ready, start the video again. Let's take a look at our materials. We have 3 small plastic beakers. I have 2 plastic pipettes. I have a small amount of warm water. It's not hot or cold, it's warm. We're going to be using hydrogen peroxide, but this is not your regular hydrogen peroxide that you'd buy at the store. This one is a little bit stronger. We have some dish soap and some active yeast. We also have, of course, our safety gloves, thermometer, food coloring, and it is all sitting on a plastic sheath that's going to protect our table and wherever the mess may go. So let's get started with part 1. We will first start with our hydrogen peroxide. Sample 1 will have approximately 20 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide, which you can see I'm preparing now. Sample 2 will have approximately 30 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. And remember, you can pause the video at any time to record data on your lab report. Now that we have our hydrogen peroxide ready, let's add the dish soap. Sample 1 will have approximately a half a milliliter of dish soap, which I will be using one of the pipettes to add the soap to the beaker. Sample 2 will have approximately 1 milliliter of dish soap. Let's add a little color to our samples. Sample 1 is going to be red, and I'm going to add 5 drops. Sample 2, I have selected yellow, and I'm going to add 5 drops to it as well. Let's get some initial temperature readings of our liquids before the reactions occur. So here's sample 1. Our initial reading ends up being 82.0 degrees. And our initial temperature reading for sample 2 is 81.9. Now it's time to get our yeast prepared. I'm going to add enough warm water to my test tube here with the yeast in it so it will fill up to the 30 milliliter mark. Once I get it filled, I'll replace the cap and get it all nice and mixed up. I'm going to shake it for about 10 seconds, and then we're going to let it sit for 2 minutes. Time's up. Let the fun begin. For sample 1, I'm going to take approximately 2 milliliters of our yeast mixture and add it to sample 1, and let's see what happens. Here is the temperature for after the reaction for sample number 1. Next is sample number 2, and I'm going to add approximately 3 milliliters of our yeast mixture, and let's see what happens here. Here's the temperature reading for after the reaction for sample number 2. And now pause the video and complete part 1 on your lab report. When you're ready, start the video again. Part 2 is going to require some predicting on your part. For sample number 3, we're going to start with approximately 40 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. We'll add about 1¼ milliliters of dish soap. And again, add a little bit of color. This time I'm picking green, and again we'll put about 5 drops into sample 3. Let's get an initial temperature reading. As you can see there, it's going to be 81.9. And then we're going to add approximately 4 milliliters of the yeast mixture to sample 3, but you're not going to get an ending temperature after the reaction. This is where your prediction comes in. Using all the previous data and this image showing all 3 reactions, it's now time to complete part 2 on your lab report. Pause the video, and when you're ready, start it again. For part 3, we're going to be using all the remaining materials. So we're going to start with what's left of the hydrogen peroxide, which is approximately 50 milliliters. And then we're going to add the remaining dish soap, which is about 2 milliliters. Let's throw in a little bit of color. I picked blue, and I'm going to put about 10 drops of the blue food coloring in. Once that goes in, then let's get an initial temperature reading before the reaction. Here's the initial temperature reading for our bottle sample. And now we're going to toss in the rest of the yeast mixture, which is about 20 milliliters, and let's see what happens. Here's the temperature reading for after the reaction. And now it's time for you to finish your lab report. Good luck.